Yeah, I'll do an introduction another time. But for now, I want to talk about like the feelings of in the morning, being down the river. Really peaceful, really relaxed. The sand is cold. You can hear clearly the birds and the sounds in the distance. It's really healing. The energy is like nowhere else. For me, sometimes it just reminds me where I am, who I am, where I belong. The mornings is a really important part of our lives. The mornings is a really important time of our days. It's to reflect on ourselves in that small amount of time, to remember today is about us, it's about me, it's about you yourself as an individual. What are your days going to look like, and what are you going to make of it? And every day we have an opportunity to make changes and bring something good to others. If you grew up along the river, fishing, hunting, camping, and eating and cooking in that sort of environment, you'll understand how important it is to know that there's a place like that to be when you're feeling like you need somewhere fresh, somewhere free and open to feel safe, comfort, and feel like you got a purpose. My name is Hozaus Claire. I grew up in the Fitzroy Valley. I'm respected as a young Guniandi, Bunuba, Walmajeri, and Yigana from my grandmother. My traditional name is Biriliji, and my skin name is Juburu. I spent most of my childhood growing up in remote communities along the Martuwarra Fitzroy River. I call my home. The Martuwarra Fitzroy River has been a resource for our people for many, many years, and it still is. The river speaks for itself, and personally, because I spend a lot of times down the river and taking notice of country, I can sort of hear it. It's asking for help, it's seeking help. Every year we have an expected rain, monsoon rain, and then a flood. And it's always been the same, and we're always excited to see it. It gives us resource. It wakes up the country. It makes the country alive. It brings it back to life. That time, that wet season, that flood time of the year is most exciting and fun time for us. But this year, 2023, we just experienced this big flood that just came out of nowhere, unexpected. And it destroyed a lot of remote communities along the Martuwarra Fitzroy River. For an example, my father's house was underwater. We entered his front gate and his front door with a tinny, with a boat, small boat.
That's when the water came up there, and from the river. Then he went through, and we go in the lounge. He went through the lounge there, through the water. Then we gone out to the front of the house. With lots of water. And there you go, you see the front there. Then with the pub not far from the stage there. And you come back through again. And you can hear the puppy dog singing out there. You saved my life. Then the water started coming out from the drain, then started coming up through the door. And that was about an hour later when I started to walk up to get help. And it was still raining that night. he was just so dark. And so I went up and helped him.
Still today, houses in communities are still being renovated and lifted higher. I feel like the people that's been moved away and being put into small huts is finding it hard and emotional and really isolated. It's been a long time since people had a home to feel happy and safe and secure. And
over here you can see, here, the water level, but that's all clean, but you can still see the water marks here. Here, and here. Yeah, this was all yucky mud everywhere here. Yeah. All our they were all covered in mud. When we first came to see it, flew over with the chopper. All this was all mud, all our stuff. I just had tears in my eye when I saw it. All our stuff got destroyed. So we saw our houses over there, and we came here to the homemakers and look. It was just really devastating. Then my heart just sank.
from where Martuwarra Fitzroy River starts to where it meets the sea, I see companies extracting and destroying the Martuwarra Fitzroy River. And to see all that, it makes me feel I don't want to say it, but it does make me feel disconnected. But I'm not. It pisses me off. I'll say that. We as Martuwarra people want to see the companies respect the land and leave the river alone. Because we want to be able to see our kids, our young people have access to land and a healthy lifestyle like we do today in the future. When the environment starts to change, we'll notice that. When the crocodiles start nesting really high up in the river, we know it's saying that there's a big flood coming, so start being prepared. That's how countries speak to us. That's how the rivers speak to us. I've been here, I've been along this river since I was a kid, and I've seen the changes, and I can tell the differences. The weeds are growing and spreading across the whole riverbed. The riverbeds are changed. The water has different way of flowing along the river. I remember walking as a kid along this river and just catching goanna every corner, every 100 meters. And now I hardly see any. I remember in the drought, in the dry season ages ago, we could be able to see where the fish, where the brims, like the small perch and all those baits, we could see the bottom of the water. And there's these, they're sort of like weed, but they're not. We call it gurja. It's the green stuff that grows on the bottom. We used to be able to see that and see what's swimming through those gurja. And now the water seems to me, it's more murky, it's more dusty. Like there's some sort of movement inside the water that's picking up the dirt. It doesn't clear up anymore. Country have a way of speaking to everyone, to the people of the land, the people that comes and visit. It speaks to us when the wet season comes. It's saying there's certain food that we can eat, certain fruits that we can collect. We carry that wisdom with our knowledge. We understand the right time and the right season for everything on this riverbed. The river is showing us signs of changes, and we are worried about that. we need to start taking notice to relearn this new knowledge. I feel like there's a leadership role that I play in my community, but I start from home. There's small things that I can do, and get done at home. Small things I can help my brothers and sisters with. I make sure that my niece and nephews are happy, and the same as my kids. When I'm around my kids, I make sure be 100% dad. My kids feel like they got my attention. So at home, there's a leadership role that I have to play, and that's making sure that everyone is happy, smiling, laughing, or has something to do. I wish that one day, when my kids have kids, they have the same access to country and doing the exact same thing as I'm doing today. Catching fish, cooking it on the fire, maybe going on country and doing just natural activities out in bush. Most important is having the same resource that we have here today.
Through my art, I get the chance to express my feelings about the water and tell the different stories about where the water runs, where it comes from, different types of waters. And water is life, It's there for me, it's there for the animal, it's there for everyone. Without water, we won't be able to live a healthy lifestyle. Through my art, I built a big network in my community, outside of my community, and international, So the more I did my art, the more people I got to meet and the more places I got to visit, showing different stories about my home, my country, the water, the river, the resource, and how important it is to us as people that live off the land and follow the seasons and want the same cycle to carry on. So using my art as a voice to build a bigger network, tell a bigger story, and get people from the outside to come into our communities and understand the value of how we see land, water, and country,
What I learned growing up listening to my old people is that country and river is really strong and it has a spirit. And our ancestral beings are still alive. But I know people say that you have to see it to believe it. But what I learned was you have to believe it to see it.
This country has been here for a long time. This country will be here forevermore. This country has been here for a long time. 'Cause me and you, we just passing through. As you think about your childhood and your friends that have been with you and gone, makes you think about the good times we had. But this old world keeps turning back the past.